Hey, good afternoon. My name is Dez Wilson. I'm a producer with Reckon, and I have recently been diagnosed with COVID-19. I'm living the experience as we speak. I'm about a week into my exposure. I got tested on Thursday and got my positive diagnosis back. So I'll be exploring not only my personal experience with battling the virus and kind of what led to me uh, getting tested, what the testing process was like, but also discussing some of the stigmas around testing, around treatment, and how the COVID-19 virus has been affecting the Black community. So I'll be bringing on actually several of my friends who have recently been diagnosed and positive with COVID-19 virus as well. Some also in this same week, and discussing how what their symptoms have been, what they've been going through, how, and also what, kind of homeopathic remedies that we've shared amongst each other, what's worked, what hasn't. One of the first things I'll mention was, I was a bit apprehensive about getting the test in general. Some of my first symptoms were, somewhat kind of head cold, and so I took some, general cold medicine, and thought that I felt better, but then noticed an immediate shift in my taste and smell receptors. I have a really sensitive nose and sense of smell, and so when that left, it really alerted me and alarmed me to go get tested. And so my lack of taste and smell lasted for about 4 days, and just over the last 2 days, as it started returning, and so I'm able to smell and taste stuff and enjoy food again. That was an interesting experience in itself. But two of my close friends, ironically, both are named Jermaine Johnson, will both be joining us. I think we already have Funny Maine Johnson with us right now, who I'll go ahead and bring on. Hey,
Hey, what's going on, Dez?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Hanging in there. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Taking it slow, still exercising, still plenty of fluids, warm liquids, every advice that, friends are giving me, just really taking heed to it.
When did you get your results back?
My days are running together, man. I didn't even know yesterday was Friday, but I guess like on this is day 3, so I got my results like on a Thursday. Yeah, went and got tested on a Wednesday, got the results on Thursday, and yeah, I probably had symptoms like the 2 days before I went and got tested, and the symptoms were there were things that I felt before, and they weren't heavy. It was like chills that I was definitely complaining about. Like I would be in the house, it would kind of be warm on the lower part of my body, but my head was like, why is it chilly or whatever? So, I recognized the chills quick, and then I started just treating the cold. But I was like, when I first got the symptoms, I immediately said, I'm going to get tested, like just as a precaution.
Yeah, I've got a 9-month-old daughter, and I was actually in the middle of a motorcycle ride from Birmingham to Detroit. Right after I got over kind of like my first day or two of feeling like I just had like a regular kind of head cold, and noticed that my smell and taste was gone, by the time I got to Detroit. And so, that's what really alarmed me and triggered me to go ahead and get the test, knowing that when I got back to town, I was going to see my daughter, and I wanted to go ahead and know for sure what was going on. I say this, but I don't have any positive confirmation because, we weren't testing this early in the year yet. But I traveled from New York to Chicago to San Francisco, all within about the span of a month, between mid-February and mid-March. And I remember coming back from Chicago and waking up the next day feeling like I got hit by a truck, and I had the full body aches. I had the chills. And luckily my sister's a physician. And so Jermaine just got on here. I'm gonna bring Jermaine on in a second. The other Jermaine, but he beat you on here too, Jermaine. So he got the Jermaine #1 title.
I beat him in life. I was born before him.
Hey, what's up, Jermaine?
What's up, bros? How y'all doing?
How you feeling, man?
I'm kind of tired today for some reason.
Yeah, we'll go into your experience in just a second. Jermaine and I will kind of recap where we've been up until now. But Jermaine, who just joined us, has probably had, I think, some of the worst symptoms out of the three of us. In his fight, he's mentioned having some difficulties breathing, closer to nighttime. And so we'll kind of talk about, some of the ways that we've been addressing and kind of battling that. But yeah, Jermaine, what I was just mentioning was that, it started off for me kind of what felt like a normal cold. And I didn't really think to even get tested until I lost my smell and taste. And so I got tested Thursday. I got tested Thursday at Walgreens on Valleydale. I set up an online appointment and showed up at my scheduled time. And they actually do the self-administered test. I wanted to talk about that as well. What was the process for the test like with you guys? But I personally was a little apprehensive about the test because I saw the videos of people getting the long, staff, stuck to the back of their heads almost.
Right.
But luckily, this was a self-administered test. It really was simple and quick. It wasn't that uncomfortable.
How did that test?
I wanted to, talk about what you guys' testing process was like, and if you had the same apprehensions that I had to going and getting tested, and what let's break down some of the stigmas that may be kind of scaring people from going and getting tested as well.
Honestly, for me, I was pretty scared of the test, just because of what I saw. Everybody saw the long thing going up your nose. And it is long and it goes pretty deep. So that was one of the things that kind of had me scared for real. I called my lady right before it happened. I was like, it's almost time. So, and the thing about it, like I was looking at the cars and the people in front of me, like damn, that old man, he did it. I guess I could do it too. But it was definitely more than I expected for real. But it's part of the struggle, so got to deal with it.
And funny, man, what about you? What was your testing process like? Also wanted to ask, where did you guys get tested?
Oh, I went to Legion Field, drive-through testing.
Yeah. I think my first time, I think it may have been in May. It was like it was literally the first day that testing was available. My lady, she had like allergies and coughs and stuff, but I was like, I don't know. So I made us both go back in May, and we went to it was in Hoover. I keep wanting to say Lorna Road, but it's not Lorna Road. It's another one of the major roads that it'll come to me in a second. But we went to a testing facility off of there. I kind of documented it on Twitter, showed people the ridiculously long line that was out there, and we were in line maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Had to do all the paperwork and stuff, and then when we finally got up there, yeah, we both did the nose thing, and that first time, the tears was coming. But later on that night, we got a Acton Road. We was off Acton Road. Later on that night, we both got a text from the app and said that we had tested negative, so that was good. So of course we went into sterilizing everything. We were real good about masks, gloves, keeping family members safe. And fast forward to this last time this week, because I had the test before, I was like, hey, that ain't gonna get me this time. Like, I'm ready. I went to UAB on 22nd and 9th, I believe. So they had a testing center. I set up the appointment, and when I went in, I was literally ready. And then she went up the nose, no tears, no nothing. I was ready this time. And then that next day, I had a few missed calls that I didn't recognize. So I called one of them back, and then I called back the main number that I set up the appointment with. And she asked for my name, date of birth, and she broke the news to me and said, yeah, you tested positive, so you need to isolate for 10 days, this and that. And I wanted to get out in front of it, so I told all my Facebook friends I had it, which turned out to be the best idea because people were giving medical advice, what to do, and so far so good. Day 3 of 10, I've been feeling great.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not gonna lie. The nurse administered test was scaring the shit out of me. I mean, I got like a phobia about stuff getting stuck in my ears and nose and stuff. So I mean, I was like, I'm not going to get tested unless I absolutely feel like I need to. But again, I had to psych myself out and just think about my child, think about my family, more than myself, and I watched a couple YouTube videos on self-administered tests, and that kind of, psyched me out a little bit. I was like, okay, all right, if these other folks can do it, I can do it, kind of same way that you saw, I think you said you saw an elder guy in front of you do it, so you're like, okay, all right.
Oh, I thought he was the elderly guy.
Yeah, that was me.
So Dez, you had to put up your own nose?
Yeah, I had to. They wheeled out like a little cart, and she backed away and kind of gave me my instructions from like 6 to 10 feet away. I had to roll down my window. I had to grab my I don't know what do you call it, like it's not a syringe, but it's like a long Q-tip, pretty much. I had to grab it. Yeah, the swab. There we go. I took out the package. She told me to do 5 to 10 seconds in one nostril, take it out, take the same one, 5 to 10 seconds in the other nostril, put it back in the package, and that was it. She told me I was going to get my results back in 24 hours, but they actually came in about 2.5 hours. And I think because I signed up online using my email, that the results came straight to my email. They didn't. I didn't get the call or voicemail or anything. So, and now I'm not gonna lie, that was a little nerve-wracking too, knowing I had to like refresh my email kind of every hour. Right. And then I'll even share, what my email looked like when I got it. It was this. So that's all I pulled up was just the Walgreens information. I mean, my name and birthday on there, but here is where it got real. It just said result positive. And I'm a generally healthy guy. So this, shocked me and kind of, really scared the shit out of me, really. And I had been in such denial about having it and thinking I just had some kind of regular, head cold that I was going to be able to kick in a couple of days. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, COVID-19 is not the only virus still floating around. So I probably got some, I know I have kind of normal sinus issues when the seasons change and stuff like that. So I really tried to write it off as that and wanted to make sure that we discussed that symptoms that we may have normally written off as something basic, really right now in this pandemic that we're in, any symptoms that we're exhibiting that we may not even directly think are attributed to COVID should trigger us to go ahead and get tested. There's some data that was released, that for every one person that is tested positive, there's actually 10 more people infected. And I think that has a lot of validity to it based off the fact that a lot of people are asymptomatic and aren't exhibiting the same symptoms. Jermaine, I know you were telling me that you've been having some breathing issues, I think closer at night. Did you want to tell us about that and how you kind of been battling that?
And that was actually kind of one of the things that kind of had me nervous about the COVID in itself. I definitely will admit I wasn't just full throttle as far as just being protective of myself. Reason being just being careless for real. But I know previously growing up, I had asthma real bad, so that was one of the things that I was nervous about. If I did get COVID, it was going to affect my breathing. So the thing was just trying to get to the point where, if I did have shortness in breath, I can handle it. To right now, my breath it's kind of short sometimes. Not daily, not all the time. I actually went on a walk today. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I feel like if I do anything extra, it will be affecting my breathing. At nighttime, that's really when it gets worse for real, just as far as just the COVID period. I won't say my breathing gets worse, but COVID in general, like when I guess when the sun goes down or whatever, that's when like I get sore. My back start hurting more. Just like the symptoms and stuff get worse at night. Last night was one of my better nights as far as overnight, so I feel like that was a win for me last night. But as far as breathing, I actually am taking a Vitarol inhaler now. But right now, like my breath is short now just off of talking. But as far as having the struggle to breathe, no, it's not. I'm not struggling to breathe, but my breath is short.
Yeah, I noticed that. I haven't felt any really. I felt some light chest pressure. I haven't done too much physical exertion, but I did notice that I was on the phone with my sister for about an hour last night, and noticed, towards about the hour mark of us talking, that I started feeling tired. Like I had been running around and doing stuff, but I literally had been sitting right here on FaceTime with her for an hour and just talking. By the end of it, I was tired and had to lay down. And I also want to mention, Jermaine, all of us talking are fairly healthy guys. Funny man, I think you mentioned you may have asthma. Did you have some issues?
Nah, I've always just had, breathing problems in my sleep. It's never been like a CPAP or anything involved, but definitely like snoring and different breathing issues. So that was like really, really a concern. But honestly, from what a few people have told me, like breathing through my mouth during sleep is actually helping. Because from what I know now, the virus will start in your nasal passage and try to work its way down to the throat, to the respiratory system. So it's something about the mouth or something breathing through that that they said is actually helpful. Because somebody suggested that I get a breathing something. I forgot what it was, but it's to help breathe through the mouth. And of course, I haven't been out the house to get it or research it or anything. So, but yeah, that was definitely scary. But I haven't really had any breathing problems with it. I did take a nap right up under the air condition like yesterday, and I woke up. I had that little headache, but that kind of went away.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of accounts saying, stay away from like really cold water. And I'd assume that, yeah, obviously, and I think we can kind of start moving to remedies. But yeah, read some accounts that cold water wasn't really the best thing for it. That warm liquids, hot tea, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. These, even adding honey and ginger, that all of these were really important vitamins and minerals to consider in drinking to help pass and flush the virus out. But supposedly, the virus lives in cold, dark area in the back of our sinuses, which, couples with the way that the test is administered. But flushing that out and maintaining warm liquids and keeping that area of our sinuses is supposedly one of the primary ways to fight the virus. So, what have you guys been doing from a daily regimen standpoint, in terms of like water intake, in addition to sleep and any other vitamins that you guys may have been taking?
Like right now and during the day, definitely a lot of room temp water, making sure, you're staying hydrated. But I keep a pot going, for tea and just hot liquids. Yeah, I add the ginger in there. That ginger, like, really cleared me up. Like, had a little congestion earlier yesterday. A little bit shakes of that ginger in there with a fresh lemon. It was out of there, man. So shout out to Ginger. Ginger been coming through. And those hot liquids, yeah, you can kind of feel them working. You know what I'm saying? Like up the neck. We bought a $70-$80 thermometer. You know, it just takes the temperature through the forehead. So I do that about 10 to 12 times a day, just checking on all the signs. And it's down here with my little workout room, so I still try to work out every day too.
Oh, you doing a big, brother.
Yeah,
especially you cutting grass. You did a big time move yesterday.
Yeah, funny man cutting grass, y'all, with COVID. I think that's
man.
Mention.
Yeah, I threw on
you're soldier, brother.
Everything to protect anybody around me. There was no neighbors out. We're kind of spaced out anyway, so when they cut the grass and had no issue. Y'all had me scared. It was like, you cut the grass? I wasn't supposed to do that. I just want to get outside and be active. So
yeah. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to some of these comments. Shay said, "Where did we think that we got COVID from?"
Shay said, "Thanks." Where y'all think?
Where you think y'all got COVID from? Shay. Personally, I have no clue. I took a ride to Memphis and back, and the ride back was a lot colder in some spaces that I didn't expect, and so I wasn't super bundled up. I think that ride may have shocked my immune system a bit, and I also hadn't really been sleeping a lot during that time frame, and so I think that dropped my immune system down a little bit. And wherever I may have come in contact with it, because I admittedly have not been wearing my mask everywhere. I've been more of a stickler for keeping my hands washed and hand sanitizer on me than I admittedly have, been wearing my mask. And so, I definitely walked in some stores without my mask, and that may have been it, but I really don't know. I don't know anyone personally that I've had that I've come in contact with. What about you guys?
Nothing in particular that I could think of. One person or one setting that I possibly could have got it from. It'd be almost impossible to try to determine where you got it from. So that's a hard thing to trace for real.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I keep masks, at least 3 masks in all the vehicles. I got gloves when I pump gas. The only 2 public places that I frequent will be Publix and Lowe's in Fultondale, and I'm always masked up when I go in there, and they do a pretty good job of wiping everything down. If I had to try to guess, and this is nothing bad to the event. It was a great event, but I went out on my own and dropped my mask to talk to some people. But the Juneteenth food truck event, there was a lot of people there, and I kind of dropped my mask to talk to a few people. So that could have been it, but I don't want to put it all on them. I could have touched anything.
That'll do it though.
Yeah, surprisingly, I think we're all familiar. Funny Man's been in a couple news articles lately.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of them. I think you're out there a little bit. But the Confederate Monument protest at Lynn Park, I was out there right next to Funny Man for a large majority of it, and surprisingly, I don't know anyone from that protest, and so I think that's tested positive, especially in that time frame. I think that was about a month ago, now. So I know that there had been some talks about the protest potentially contributing to the higher spikes, but I don't think that any prominent data supports that. And I think that's really interesting. But even at the monument, we saw, the majority, if not everyone out there was masked up. And I think that, taking these precautions is helping, obviously the virus is spreading still. With businesses opening back up, I think we'll probably be, headed towards another shutdown for Alabama. I know Miami beaches and Florida beaches have just, closed back down. Roy Johnson sent me a text message. He didn't comment on here, but funny man, he asked you, why did you go back for a second test?
The symptoms, the chills, definitely the reason. Like, and it didn't take long. Like when I felt them that first day for like a minute, and chills have gone away since then. But once I felt that, I was like, "Nah, I'm going to get tested." Like, I've been really just over the top about it since day one, to the point my family was making fun of me, like, "You just gonna Clorox down everything?" I'm like, "Yes, I am," and I hadn't been going out around people, not like that. So yeah, I figured I like to stay proactive with stuff.
A Birmingham police officer just asked, have we had any issues with smell and taste? And I can say, for me personally, yes, that was what honestly alarmed me and alerted me to go ahead and get tested. I lost complete. I couldn't smell a bottle of cologne stuck up my nostril. I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't taste my toothpaste. I couldn't. It was scary. I tried different. I even tried smelling some essential oils that I have for a diffuser here at my house. I couldn't. I tried to close my eyes and differentiate between eucalyptus, peppermint, and something else, a tea tree. I couldn't smell any three of them, and it scared me. I've got a really, really sensitive nose. I can smell stuff lingering for days, but within about a 24-hour time span, I completely lost my smell and taste. And over the last couple of days, it's come back. I'm able to enjoy foods and smells again. I can smell my cologne again. But what about you guys? Did you have the loss in smell and taste?
Yeah, definitely. For me, that was initially, I can tell. I heard people saying it, but I can tell that my smell and taste was gone. I probably didn't lose the smell and taste until probably about 2 days ago. Definitely, but it's like a weird. It's like you can smell, but everything smells the same. It's like it's not. It's like everything has this weird smell. I really can't explain that.
Did that smell that you had? What I kept smelling, it was kind of metallic. My nose. I don't know if y'all have ever been hit in the nose. And you get that metallic-y kind of tingy smell just kind of permeating.
Right.
That's what it smelled like to me. It smelled like I got hit in the nose, and it was just that permanent hit in the nose smell.
Right.
Did y'all have?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's definitely like that is a good explanation of what it was. I was like I told you guys yesterday, salt is like extreme. I can taste salt a whole lot more than I did before. And I actually I talked to somebody else and they said the same thing. They said they have extreme taste for salt. I had something like the day before yesterday. My girl, she had made a sandwich, and I was like, why the hell did she put all this salt on here? And I bit it. I was like, damn, this is salty. And I put it down. I'm like, I'm not eating this crap. So the next day, I had some hash browns from Burger King at Versailles, and I bit it again. I was like, damn, this stuff is salty as hell. Like, what is going on? And I wanted to ask somebody else about their taste. They said pretty much, I was wondering why everything I taste so salty. So I'm guessing this is like one of the side effects of COVID. That like your taste sensation of salt is extreme. I don't know if you guys have had it, but I've talked to 2 or 3 people that have had that sensation where they say salt is like majorly extreme as far as the taste goes. And it's like it's not like the fact that it has salt in it. It's just like that's all you can taste is the salt.
Yeah,
I haven't had any issue with the smell. I thought I did yesterday about some Vicks Vapor Rub, and I twisted it off. We all know Vicks is super strong, and so I was putting it up to my nose, and I was like, "Oh, I don't smell nothing." I'm like, "Here we go." I dug a little bit in there, put it on my finger to smell my finger, and I couldn't smell it, but it was still like I was getting the pungence up in my nose. Then I rubbed some on my chest, and about 3 minutes later, I'm sitting there just breathing, and my nostrils open up. I said, oh, "Okay, that's it." I put on too much, so I guess I had a little scare, but it came back in. I think my nose was just stopped up, from sitting under the air.
Yeah, but I've heard that's definitely one of the first things that people notice. The smell is gone and taste is gone.
But we've got a couple more. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but the salt thing was kind of weird to me though. I really couldn't explain that. My appetite is coming back a little bit. It's not back to what it was, but I am eating a little more. I had a sandwich today, so like the first couple of days, I had like something from Zaxby's. I took like 2 days of eating a Zaxby meal, so. But today I had a sandwich and some chips. Man, it getting better as far as my appetite goes.
Yeah, I think salt. I was gargling salt water a lot. I think I'm on the downhill portion of my experience with the infection. With my smell and taste coming back, I'm still keeping up my vitamin regimen, but my throat hasn't been sore. To feel like I needed to continue gargling as frequently as I was. But when I was gargling with heavy salt water and lemons, salt was one of the only things I could taste. But I still, but that was when I was directly gargling it. I still couldn't taste it in foods at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I had some Zaxby's also and couldn't taste any of it, even the sauce, the fries, nothing. That was a little that kind of took me down through there mentally, and we'll kind of go through kind of our mental space through this as well. I don't want to keep y'all too long. We'll probably talk about 10 more minutes. I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in. We got a lot of questions that I want to try to address as well. But just so everyone knows, I am going to continue doing this conversation weekly. I'll make sure that I follow up with these guys with their when they test negative and when we're able to kind of move past this. I'll bring up a couple questions now. Erica Ashford asked, would we consider being retested before interacting normally with family again? Absolutely. That's the only indicator. I mean, I've got a 9-month-old daughter. I can't go anywhere near her until I get a negative result back. And so I've got to, Roy said Zaxby's paying us for all these endorsements. No, we're going to work that out. But we're going to say nothing, but funny man on that right there.
Say Zaxby one more time.
Yeah, I've got to get my negative diagnosis and know that I'm in the clear before I get back around my daughter or my family as a whole. What about you guys?
Okay.
I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. Like, I may get tested twice. After my 10 days is up, I may get tested twice, like in a 7-day period, just to be absolutely sure.
Yeah, definitely. After 14 days, I can't go back to work until I test negative anyway. So I got to get tested once my 14 days is up.
Hey, I wanted to mention, I mean, we're all in 3 completely different industries as well. I've been working from home for about the last 3 months. I think I kind of lost track. But I work with Alabama Media Group. Also, have my own photography and videography business as well. But my work has taken a lot of precautions and movements to prevent it. We haven't been allowed in the office. Anybody who's tested positive is automatically quarantined, and we kind of track and make sure that we hadn't come in contact with any other employees or been in the office during that time. Jermaine, on the far right, I know you're a firefighter now.
Right.
What precautions and kind of measures have you guys been taking at the fire station?
Pretty much, like you said, we follow all protocol as far as social distancing is on calls. We can't we document all our calls to make sure we're not being contaminated by anything that's on the call. Pretty much we wear masks and goggles on all calls, so we try to do our best to stay safe. But that's part of the job, so you really can't you can't guarantee what one another happen. You know what I mean? So that's just part of it for real.
Yeah. What about you, Jermaine? I know you're independent entrepreneur. I believe. I don't think you're clocking in anywhere. So I think you probably had a little more freedom than all of us. But how has your family and home life, shifted with everything?
Not too much at home. Like I said, I work out. We do ship like a lot of packages from here. So, but we have always, use gloves and air spray to kind of, just as a precaution. So we'll definitely ramp that up. Most of the comedy clubs are still either closed or at partly capacity. Some of my good friends are performing at the Start on this weekend. I'd love to go over there and support them, but that's not gonna happen. So, yeah, it's just a wait and see right now. Keep myself healthy. At some point, I'll start sterilizing everything around the house. But yeah, not too much has changed at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to disinfect everything before I have anybody back over and do that whole process. So, I know someone mentioned on here about mailbox latch. I never thought about that. So thank you, Lee. I never thought about disinfecting my mailbox latch. Obviously door handles, commonly used surfaces, the kitchen, the bathroom, living room table, stuff like that. I never thought about disinfecting my mailbox. And so, I've been pretty, consistent with wearing a glove at the gas station. And even after wearing a glove at the gas station, I still sanitize my hands in the car. And again, I've been more consistent with keeping my hands clean than I had been with actually wearing a face mask. But I'll be, moving forward, I'll definitely be increasing all those precautions as well. I know the face mask thing has been a huge point of conversation. A lot of people are uncomfortable wearing them. But just to reiterate, I mean, wearing a face mask is not so much for your personal protection as it is for you to prevent asymptomatically or symptomatically spreading the virus to others. Walking by in the grocery store, all of these little things that I think we've taken granted, and just kind of, adopted in the normal habit. It's normal for us to stand next to somebody in a grocery aisle while we're looking for some cereal, who's a complete stranger. But having to be deliberate about maintaining a distance has been difficult for me. And admittedly, I've been a little reckless in my adaptation to it. But after testing positive and going through this and knowing the importance of it now from a firsthand experience, I want to reiterate to everybody watching that all this stuff does matter. And we're in the middle of a pandemic, and this is one of the only things we can do to fight it and to defend ourselves from it.
I think also people comparing it to the flu. I definitely don't want people to be fooled and think this is a flu comparable sickness. Like, I've had the flu before, and it feels nothing like the flu. I mean, I feel much worse than I ever felt having the flu before. So I don't want people to be lackadaisical about it because they feel like they took the flu like a champ. This thing is like dealing with people in different ways. So don't think you can handle it just because you handle the flu on a regular. So
yeah, I mean, and Jermaine, you're a firefighter. I mean, you're a pretty fit guy. I mean, you work out pretty consistently and fairly healthy. You don't have any pre-existing conditions, correct?
Right now.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think Jermaine's a classic example of somebody who is in pretty much perfect health, but out of the three of us, he's been dealing with some of the worst symptoms.
Right.
So the virus is showing up differently in different people. You don't know how or when it's going to show up, but obviously maintaining whatever precautions that we can, are some of the only defenses we have. Roy said any words for those refusing to wear masks. Hey, I'm somebody who didn't wear a mask all the time, and now I'm a week to having COVID-19. So I mean,
to those people, man, it's so silly. Like, you may only have one chance to get this right for you, your family, elderly people around you. A lot of I tried to bring up a friend yesterday on live about his conspiracies and him not wanting the mask, and he admitted that it was political. I'm like, dude, if the government trying to control something pertinent, yeah, we'll speak out. If they try to make us get a chip in our bodies, or they want us to get electrocuted all at one time, we'll say something. It's just a 6-ounce mask, man, and it's like wearing a seatbelt. It's just a precaution. For I think the people that have went crazy with these far right conspiracy theories, like, you really need to step back and check themselves, and also this thing is proven, man. It's not just a black disease. It's not just the old people disease. COVID does not have a particular zip code or person that it will attack. It will attack anybody. Like, we're seeing the numbers skyrocket for everybody. So you've got nothing to lose by taking this thing serious. And for people to say, I've heard some far right people say, well, I believe in the herd immunity. The doctors told you about herd immunity. It's the same doctors that are telling you to wear a mask. You can't believe them on one front and not believe them on another. It's just a small precaution, man. I don't think the government has won some battle by getting you to wear a mask for 10, 15 minutes out the day. It's sounding more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is all we can really do. I'm going to go through a couple of these comments, and I'll let you guys go. But again, we're going to keep this conversation going weekly. I'll check back in with these guys as well as bring on some other people who are dealing with either battling the virus or recently beat it. A lot of people are being afflicted by it, whether personally or within their family. I know several people have family members who passed from it. Some with pre-existing conditions, some without pre-existing conditions.
I just seen a guy on my timeline. He said his grandmother died from COVID. A lot of people are feeling like some of these deaths are false COVID. They blame it on COVID falsely. I mean, how do we know? All I can do is take the people's word for it on far as what they're dying from. So, kind of is what it is on that. My thing is, on your end, all you can do is be safe and protect yourself from COVID. That's all you can do.
And being proactive about this thing. I think when you buy into conspiracy theories, you're just leaving yourself open to have to be reactive if, God forbid, you do get it. So just stay in front of it, stop the silliness, and when we need to fight the government on something real, we'll do that. But a 6-ounce piece of cloth, no.
Y'all got to check out DeJuan comment. I can't even bring it on here, but boy, you stupid, man. DeJuan said COVID came from the east side. Hey, but yeah, who's this? Somebody said about keeping and the importance of stress. I'm trying to find your comment now. Yes, here she is. Aria Lott said, Black people, stress is a major immunosuppressant. Be careful what you allow in your space. Take a break from the news. Keep positivity and comedy release around. It makes a difference. You're absolutely right. I mean, stress and your mental condition, and that's a great segue to something else I wanted to talk about, was our mental condition and how we felt through this process, how we feel now, even how we felt when we first got our results back. But, I kind of made a kind of lighthearted post about it when I first got my results back, and the response I got in my inbox from people who have also been recently, diagnosed with it was pretty shocking. I mean, it's a lot of people who have tested positive and are literally in fear of publicly discussing it, in fear of telling people about it. It's like, damn near you get treated like a leper at first, like don't nobody want to come around you, people dropping our food on the porch and shit. I mean, it's it's different. You know, it's uncomfortable, and you gotta find some laughter in there where you can, and know that this thing is beatable. Know that it does pass. But you know, that's why we wanted to, you know, create this platform and maintain it so we can have the discussion and normalize the conversation around it, to understand this is something that the entire globe is going through. Not just Black folks, not just white folks, not just Hispanics. Everybody's being affected by this, and we need to talk about it. We need to share remedies. We need to share experiences, and know that we can lean on each other. You know, this conversation in itself was birthed from a Facebook conversation, a Facebook group, and so we all reached out to each other, checked on each other, shared some remedies. And we need to keep this going. So, you know, if you do test positive, you know, understand that, you know, this is a beatable thing. Everyone's going through it. And don't hold yourself up and think that you have to fight this alone. Speak about it, reach out to it. You know, a lot of people are going through it and have beaten it. And you can too. So
I guess mentally wise, initially I won't lie, I was scared. Because like I said, I didn't know how it was going to affect me personally. Like at nighttime, like you just laying in the bed, you kind of like, damn, like this shit is it's not getting better. Like, am I gonna get better or what? Like it's just kind of like mentally, it kind of plays hard in your mind. So you kind of try to psych yourself out a little bit and be like, okay, better, I got this. As far as just being around people, well, talking to people that has it helped a whole lot, because if somebody else dealing with the stuff besides you, you're not dealing with this by yourself. Being in the room by yourself all day, that's crazy, especially if you're in a house with other people. So you definitely got to get around people, talk to people about it, have conversation about it, and try to keep your sanity in the situation, because I mean, the reality of it is like you don't know. So definitely getting around people, talking to people about it is going to help you out as well. It's not a secret. I mean, it's not like it's a STD or anything. So.
Right. I think what helps my mental condition is just being delivered from people's opinions. You know, maybe 15 years in comedy, radio, and all that, I kind of built it up. I don't care what people think. Like once I found out, I told the folks close to me and family, I went right to Facebook, like I'm jumping out in front. Hey y'all, I got it. Pray for me, but we finna fight. So for people that are not at that level of freedom mentally, don't be scared of people's opinions. Be scared of this thing growing because you didn't stay on top of it. So if you are gonna be scared of the right thing. Was that the ice cream truck pass through while I was talking?
No, that's that Android ringing over there.
One of the reasons I did do.
Let me say
one of the reasons I did put it out there though was because I wanted people to be confident or feel okay with having COVID. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I put it out there that I had it. It's hard to defend yourself from it if you don't know who has it. So people being a little more transparent about having it and being around people that has had it is gonna make it easier for us to fight this thing. So I definitely feel like we should be a little more open about it.
I want y'all to know I'm sweating because I'm in front of this bright ass light, but I don't have a fever or anything. So, and I you know, a lot of people have been checking temperatures, and obviously that's still a huge indicator. But also, I never had a fever through the whole process.
Really?
I haven't had a fever the whole time.
Yeah, me either.
Jermaine, you said you've been having one kind of on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how high did you get, man? Like what number did you get up to?
101's the highest I've been.
Yeah,
but it's typically been between 90, 99, and 100 at the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. I've been steady like between 94 and 97 the whole time.
Oh, really? Oh, that's solid there.
Yeah, I never really went past 98.6, 0.7.
Shout out to Kiss FM.
98.7. I want to go over some of these data points, but while we pull that up, a lot of people on here saying thanks for sharing our stories. definitely want to help normalize the conversation. Icon Will Smith said, make sure you don't allow fluid to build up in your lungs. That's been important. A lot of people don't know that there are some breathing exercises. My sister's a physician, and she mentioned that it's important to take like deep breaths throughout the day to clear and exercise your lungs. So I want to recommend that you guys do that as well. Guster got jokes. He said, whose ringtone was that?
Right there. I wanted to know too.
Everybody got an iPhone, man. Golly.
Get an iPhone, bro.
Hey, man, I'm getting money too, man.
Yeah, I want to thank Cody. Cody left me a platter of some baked ziti earlier. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, my lady brought me
his distance. He ain't even come down my driveway.
My lady brought me a baked potato yesterday. It was delicious. And then my Uber Eats driver today, he run the doorbell to bring me some food. And he was just sitting there. I was waiting on him to walk off so I can go get it. He was sitting there, so I talking to him through the ring. And I said, yeah, man, just leave it. Somebody in here is tested positive. He got up out of there. He might have left his car outside.
Yeah, my pops is 71, 72, and man, he ain't been playing with it at all. He's in that higher risk age. I think it's 63 and up, 64 and up. But luckily he doesn't have any pre-existing conditions. But he's been extremely cautious about his exposure to it.
Yeah, my lady, she's been pretty good on the nurse tip. So I appreciate her. Because if I was by myself, boy, I'd be jacked up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've got some strong women in my life. One of my older sisters is a physician in Georgia who's actually treating COVID patients, and so she's been keeping up with me. She also mentioned that if you are diagnosed, that you need to buy an oximeter to monitor your oxygen level, and if your oxygen levels dip at any point, then that needs to automatically prompt you to seek some more help.
If it gets 5%, that's when it's getting pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. So cool. As we continue this, I'll jump into some more of the data points. We've been on here for about an hour now. You guys have asked some really important questions. Again, if you have any other questions you'd like us to answer on these next few episodes, feel free to message me directly or drop them in this comment thread here, and I'll be sure to go back through it and pick some of those out. But again, I'll continue this conversation. I'll bring these guys back on to discuss where they are in their process and in their shedding of the virus and what they've been doing moving forward to prevent being exposed to it again. So thank you guys for the opportunity.
How many days are you at this? What day is this for you?
I think I'm about a week in between when I first started feeling symptoms. Again, I didn't get tested until Thursday, but by Thursday, I think I was about 4 to 5 days in. So I think I'm about 7 to 8 days in now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna clear out, continue to quarantine for the next week. I'll probably schedule another test for next Thursday to see what my status is then. But other than that, I'm just gonna continue quarantining. I got enough food here to last me for about 2 months. So I'm happy about that. What about you guys?
What was the question?
What day you, bro?
Oh, what day? This is day 3 since I found out. But so that makes it about day 4.5, 5 since I had the first symptoms. But I'm gonna take this whole next week. I'm gonna stay isolated, and then probably Monday following, then I'll just go get tested again.
Yeah, solid there. You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the test isn't that bad. At least the self-administered one that I had to do with myself. I preferred the self-administered test because you know how far back you need to go, And again, the nurse that administered the test scared the shit out of me. So
I've done it twice now. Looking forward to it.
Man,
I just
you
count down.
gotta be tough.
He's like nothing, you know.
You gotta be tough.
Nah, I just changed my mindset, and I definitely don't want anybody to be hesitant to go get it. I would just say, man, take a deep breath, count down from 5, and it's over with.
Yeah, it really is that simple.
Yeah. What do you think?
Damien, I think Damien just joined us, but we'll kind of revisit this and then we'll cut it off right at an hour. But Damien mentioned, why did you all go get tested? Again, I think we all were showing symptoms at some point that prompted us to go ahead and do it. For me, I started off having normal cold symptoms that quickly ended, and then I just had a dramatic loss of smell and taste. And so that was my main contributor and kind of motivation for going ahead and getting tested. What about you guys?
Yeah, when I first got those chills and I didn't feel right for like an hour or two, I went ahead and got tested that next day.
Yeah. Tuesday, I just after I got off shift, I was like, man, I just feel terrible. Like I don't feel good. I gotta see what the hell going on. So, and I don't even know, maybe feel like it was COVID. I just wanted to get tested and it wound up being COVID. So.
Yeah, and I think Augusta was a good idea coming up with to do this type list of things when if you do, God forbid, you test positive, just listen, do this thing. I'm willing to give out all the information that I got, and people have been pretty consistent. People that don't even know each other, when they're talking about the heat and the warm liquids, the warm towels, the vitamin C and D, the ginger, some say elderberry. I think it's all pretty helpful. Yeah.
And again, none of us are healthcare professionals. We are not doctors providing medical advice. We're only sharing what we have used in our experience. Again, make sure you're not allergic to anything like ginger or elderberry or echinacea. Before you start taking stuff that people are recommending. Everybody's body is different. Some things may work for you that won't work for somebody else. So I think while the whole world is still grappling with how to combat this, in some ways it kind of is trial and error. But I think generally, boosting your immune system with these vitamins is really important. Making sure you stay hydrated has also been, widely shared. Drink more water than you're used to, and make sure that you stay hydrated and don't burn yourself out, especially if you're dealing with a fever and overheating. Nicole, New York, asked, did we have any breathing issues? I personally haven't had any. I've experienced some slight chest pressure very randomly, but nothing. I really haven't even dealt with much sinus pressure and even like congestion, surprisingly. I've been able to breathe pretty clearly through the whole process. But I know both of you guys have had a couple breathing issues.
Not really. Not when I got from up under the AC. Other than that,
I had a little shortness of breath. Nothing major, but I did initially the first couple of days. Though I felt like something something was like inside my chest. Like I don't know. I can't explain it. Like it felt like it was just something inside. Like it felt like something inside your body. Like I couldn't explain what the hell it was, but it just felt like something was in there. You know what I mean? And that was kind of one of the things that kind of had. Like man, we talk about mentally. That was kind of one of the things that had me spooked early too, because it was like, what the hell going on in my body? So that's kind of one of the things that we also heard the people saying, like, far as symptoms, far as your back hurting, having real bad aches. That's another reason I went and got tested, because my shoulders, like, I feel like I had been working out. My shoulders were hurting real bad, and my back was hurting real bad. That's one of the things that made me like, damn, like, what's going on? So.
Yeah, surprisingly, Jermaine, when I think that I may have had it the first time earlier in the year before we even started testing in the U.S., I woke up feeling that same way. I felt like I had slept wrong, and I remember my shoulders and my back were really tight. I got up trying to stretch, thinking I had slept like the wrong way on a pillow or something. Right. And that's what made me start looking up symptoms, and it was mostly flu related symptoms, but I've never had the flu. And so I think I may have had my kind of first bout with it then. And, I don't know, but I'm thinking generally that this second go round may have been a little more mild because of the first time. I don't know. I know some articles have said that the second time could be worse than the first time. But, the first time I think I had it, obviously I don't know, but I didn't have any smell or taste issues then. Whereas this time I've had mostly, only smell and taste issues. So, Well, cool, man. We've done this for an hour, man. I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer. I know we all need some naps and food and water and stuff by now. But again,
definitely nap time. Gotta find
it. So again, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to message any three of us. I know we're all open to discussing. If you'd like any other questions answered on the next conversation, feel free to message me directly or email me at dwilson@al.com. Jermaine and Jermaine, I appreciate y'all. Stay healthy. Everybody watching, make sure you wear your face mask, stay inside, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, and keep your immune system up. Make sure you stay stress-free, keep your body and your mind clear, and we will get through this.
Yeah, take it serious, man. You got nothing to lose by taking this thing serious. Take it serious, stay out in front of it.
Yeah, fact, great. Yeah. I appreciate y'all, brothers. Y'all have helped me a lot this week, so we'll see you on the other side. That's
what it's about, brother. All right, man.
Whoa, on the other side. No, we're going to be
out. He said, we'll see you in the upper room. All right, man. I'll see you soon, man.
And we're doing the crossroads, ain't it?
Watch what hey, bro. Gotta watch what
I ain't mean you there, bro.
Watch what you speak. We rebuke that.
Don't put it in.
Y'all take it easy, man.
All right.